Today is day 9 of the 12 Days of Makemas, and today we're going to be making a cookie plate for Santa. Going to be a pretty easy one today. 3 bits, a bowl bit, our Groovy Jenny, which we're doing the 90-degree variant today, and then Downtown Jenny, Costco croissants. Sorry, I'm still eating. Y'all are going to have to suffer through that. Today we're using a piece of 1-inch thick walnut, and the reason that I have that weird dimension, I know for people out there who don't woodwork, that's like, well, 1-inch thick wood. It's really difficult to get 1-inch thick wood because when you order 1-inch thick lumber that's dimensionally cut to 1 inch, then you have to plane it down to get it to a usable state. And at that point you're down to like 3/4 of an inch, or hopefully 13/16 is what you're really shooting for. So in order to get 1-inch thick wood, you have to buy 5/4. So 5/4 equals to 1 1/4 inches, and then you have to either mill it down yourself or get the lumber mill to actually mill it down. So you're spending more money and you're wasting material, in order to get down to that 1-inch thick wood. But for my topo trays, I use 1-inch thick wood because I think it looks really nice. Just size-wise, it really fits what I'm going for. So that's why I have 1-inch lumber in the shop. It's just a few extra steps to get to. So that's what we're using today, but honestly, it would look a lot better if it was like 3/4 of an inch. And you'll see that in a second, but that's what I've got, so that's what I'm using. So first we're going with our bowl bit. It will be linked down in the description below. It's the same bowl bit that I use for anything that needs a bowl bit in my shop. We're just going to be going down 1/8 of an inch. Very, very shallow dish that we're doing today. Then we're going to be switching over to our 90-degree variant of the Groovy Jenny, and we're going to be using that to cut out all of our letters as well as our Santa Claus shape. And then simply we're going to be doing a profile pass with the 1/4-inch Downtown Jenny, and that is what we're going to be using for this specifically. For hardwood, I only use the Downtown Jenny. It is like the main bit that I use in my shop, and I just think that it cuts it really, really well. So that's, of course, what we're going to be using today. So all of that should take like 12 minutes, 15 probably with bit changes and stuff. So let's go ahead and cut that out and finish this croissant. So for anybody who has like actually been waiting on Black Friday to be here, or Cyber Monday, or Small Business Saturday, or any of the little things that we say to get people to buy things on this weekend, was there anything specifically that you were waiting for that you wanted like a big discount on or something like that? Please write that down in the comments. I'm always very interested to see like the types of tools that people are saving up for and they're really wanting to buy. It doesn't like help me do anything. I'm just interested. So yeah, if you were waiting for the spending time of the year to be here to hopefully get as good of a discount as possible, let me know down in the comments below. And that actually also brings up a really good thing. So I've been telling y'all that if you're buying a Onefinity, to wait until the 14th through the 26th and use code Makemas2022, and then you'll get a free Suck It Dust boot on any new machine. That includes the X35s as well as the X50s. Onefinity right now is doing their week of unveiling new products and stuff, and yesterday for Thanksgiving they were saying, hey, anybody who buys a new machine through the end of this year, X50, so X50 Woodworker and X50 Journeyman, gets a touch probe, they get a dust boot, they get Carveco Maker, the basic model, 12 months for free, and maybe something else as well. It was crazy. They're giving away a ton of stuff. So if you're buying a machine and you're not on the mailing list, that's something that's happening right now. I don't even think that you have to use a discount code. But if you're still buying a machine, please still use Makemas 2022, because that will apply to the X35 machines if that's something you're interested in. So yeah, I didn't know they were going to be doing that, which is super cool. So if you're in the market for a new machine, yeah, right now is definitely the time to buy from Onefinity. Alright, we have got our little cookie plate, and then we're going to put a round over on this and talk about it a little bit. Alrighty, Santa's cookies. We are just going to be putting some mineral oil on this like I do with the majority of my projects. That means that it is going to be food safe, as well as very easy to reapply if you ever need to do so. But if you're making something like this, it's going to get used once a year. Maybe like 6 years in a row. I know I'm really selling my file real hard to you right now, but I hope you see what I mean when I say that I used 1-inch material because I had an offcut of it, but 3/4 of an inch would have been just as well. And the reason that I didn't take this down anymore is because I just think it looks strange. I think 1/4 of an inch really shows off like, hey, this can hold something. Other than that, though, like I personally wouldn't take it down farther. I know that a ton of people out there are like, you should, but Now, the reason that I did the 90-degree variant on this is to show off a few things. So you see his belt and his boots very clearly, and that is because those were areas that were much larger than needed to be milled out by the V-bit. Now, if you have a very sharp V-bit, so 30 degree, 60 degree, very acute angles, that's obviously going to pierce deeper into the material unless you set a depth. But once you set a depth of don't go farther than this, it's going to take a much longer to carve out because it's going to create that depth for you. But it's not like a 1/4 inch end mill where you're milling out 1/4 of an inch area. You're milling out a pinpoint of the end of that V-bit. So it's going to go back and forth and really, really take its time to mill out that area. So if you're doing like this and you don't want to set a depth like that, a 90-degree V-bit is really useful. You could have done all the letters with a 90-degree and the boots and then the belt as well with the 90-degree, and then come back with like a 30-degree or a 60-degree and cut out all of the other lines for Santa. Because if you look at this, the lines for Santa are very thin, shallow, but the lines for the belt, the boots, and for the letters, they're very demanding. You can clearly see what they are. This is a 9-inch round cookie, and obviously you can scale this to the size that you need it to be. So yeah, I mean, like, I'm pretty happy with how it came out. I would have gone and sandblasted this, but I didn't want the top to be too rough. Obviously, if you don't want the mill marks, go back and sand them off, but I know this is going to sound silly, and a lot of people are going to disagree with me, but I try to sand as few things as possible. If you watched any of my market videos, I barely sanded anything. And by barely sanded, I mean the majority of things I didn't even touch with sandpaper. If there were rough spots, I would go back and sand that. A lot of people questioned the fact that I made all of that product in 30 hours. And there's no reason to fight with people on the internet. But the reason that I was able to make all that stuff in 30 hours and it didn't take 60 hours, because my finishing process goes as this. I order my lumber from the lumber yard S4S, so it is surfaced 4 sides, which means that it has a straight edge and then it is top and bottom have been planed. They've got a very nice planer. They just digitally click in, hey, this needs to be 3/4 of an inch. It comes off as clean as can be because they want their clients to be happy. That surface normally is like a very burnished surface. So when I put it on the CNC, dimensionally, I know exactly what it's going to be. I cut that out with the profiles and then I come back and with a roundover bit, I put a roundover on the sides. I use nice bits from Cadence Manufacturing, so oftentimes I have a very clean profile surface when I'm done cutting off the CNC directly off of it. So I then take that and then I just dunk it in mineral oil and it's done. It's just got to soak in and dry off, and that is a completed project. No, I'm not saying that it is better than me sitting there for 20 minutes and sanding it and going from 80 to 120 to 180 to 220 and then maybe even 300 if I'm feeling a little bit crazy that day. That is not a replacement for that process whatsoever. But when I in my shop look at the time that I'm spending on things and then the value that is bringing to a product, there are certain things, yes, that I think that you should sand 100%. And other things, I don't think it matters. So I know that I will have ticked off a lot of people by saying that, but that's just how I do things in my shop. And if you're sitting there thinking, well, none of this stuff sells, go back, watch my other videos for the market and stuff. Stuff does still sell, and I have not had a single person look at me and say, Hamilton, you didn't sand this. So yeah, that's just my 2 cents on sanding. I know that some people are going to disagree with that process. That's okay. It's the internet. It's kind of what it's meant for. I hope y'all are going to Carveco's website every day. Link is down in the description. They're giving away a Christmas-themed CNC file every single day. You've got to stop by every single day to see what they've got and then download it. You don't even have to use their products. They're just an awesome company. They are also giving away a $500 gift card as well as a perpetual license for Carveco Maker on December 13th when we are doing our live stream giveaway, as well as Cadence Manufacturing is giving away a $100 gift card to buy whatever Jenny bits you want off of the Cadence Manufacturing website down below. You can go check them out. And if you use the code Makemas 2022, you will receive 10% off of your order, as well as you will get a Makemas sticker. It is the only way to get it. I don't even have a Makemas sticker yet. He's got them, and he's giving them out with every single bit purchase when you use the code Makemas2022. And then our grand prize is going to be a Onefinity CNC machine, an X35 Woodworker with controller and screen. I'm just so thankful that Onefinity is allowing me to once again give away one of their machines. So thank you, Onefinity. Very cool of you. We only have 3 days of Makemas left. The last 2 days are by far my favorite. But tomorrow, it's a pretty good one too. I'm considering doing like 3 different things, so I don't really know what it's going to be, but we'll both find out tomorrow. Okay, so being the 9th day of Makemas, I'm sure at least one person has commented about this. So I bought all this Nordfab pipe. This stuff is super expensive. If you're unaware of Nordfab pipe, this is like industrial stuff that people put in like very large plants to be able to move waste around their shops. Now, sometimes those shops go under, and then people like me jump in and buy the stuff because it is so ridiculously expensive. And by ridiculously expensive, I mean this reducer right here that goes from 6-inch to 4-inch is $100. And these aren't the websites that offer free shipping. So you're paying $100 and then you're paying like $20 to ship it. So that's $120 right there. So for me, I went on Facebook Marketplace and I found a bunch of these places, 2 and specifically one down in Atlanta. They used it for concrete adhesives. So a few of these pipes are like, when you touch it, your hand immediately dries out. But the other place was in Charlotte, and it was from a wood shop, and they had bought theirs from a wood shop that went under in Louisiana. Like I said, the stuff's expensive, so it's constantly just being traded out. So it made it here into my shop. From my vacuum, it goes from 8-inch to a 7-inch trunk over there. This is all 6-inch. Now, the reason that that is such a weird angle is because that's a 60-degree elbow, and I don't have a 45-degree elbow. In order for me to get a 45-degree elbow, I have to order it offline. And that 45-degree elbow, which we'll use this one as the prop, this is a 4-inch elbow, and this is a 45 degrees. In order for me to get the 6-inch 45 degree, it's $100, and then $20 for shipping. So I'm like talking with 2 guys on Facebook Marketplace right now who are not close to me and being like, hey, like I'm more than happy to pay for it, but please ship it. And of course, if you've sold anything off Facebook Marketplace and somebody mentions shipping, you're like, nah, it's a scam. It's my first time being on the other end of that. So right now, yeah, I'm looking super like Dr. Seuss in here. And I'm considering putting this 45 right here so that this end kicks underneath the table saw. And that might be the way to go. But as far as like suction and functionality, no, this is not how you want your airflow to go. I'm not having like a dedicated video to the pipe, but it's really awesome. I'm not in any way sponsored by them. The funny part is I reached out to be sponsored by them to see if they would, and they were kind of keen on it, but it didn't work out at the end of the day. So the pipe is meant to be like very quickly installed as well as adapted. So you can see these just kind of line up to each other, and then you use these quick fit clamps. And there you go. Now we have kicked it underneath the table saw right there. And honestly, let me know down in the comments, for $100, would you change that 60 degree to a 45 so that it went straight down and then kick it under the table saw? Or to save $120 and not do anything and it's already here, would you just leave it like this? I'm kind of leaning towards leaving it like this. I know that only like 20% of y'all stick around to the very end of the videos. Thanks. When I'm making these videos, I try and make them specifically for y'all. Yeah, thanks for sticking around. See y'all tomorrow. Bye.